Welcome back to Slam Shenanigans. So we're starting out here today on a very cold morning, and what we're going to be working on is a French drain in front of the house to solve some of our water problems. So as you've been following along, here's a little mudslide we had from our last rain event that I ended up trying to clean up a little bit in preparation for this French drain the night before, and ended up forgetting about a spigot. So I wiped that out and had to fix that at night. It was quite fun trying to run a heater and keep everything warm to glue it up, but we got her fixed up. So that's that area right there. So keep that in mind as we go forward with this video, because there's more fun to be had with these utilities out here. Anyways, first thing I had to do is I scraped off most of that mud last night with the tractor. And today the first thing I got to do is try and scrape off the mud, the remaining mud, and the rock off of my little section of eco-raster here where I park my side-by-sides. So kind of worked on it and got it flipped up and tried to knock all these rocks out of here, and finally ended up just saying, you know, it's close enough, I'm going to hook up to it with the tractor and drag it out of the way. So that's what I did. So now that that's out of the way, I can actually scrape the remainder of the road base and the rock off of here so that I can dig my ditch for the French drain. And that's what I'm doing here. Got the big grading bucket on. Thing's wonderful. It's about 47, 48 inches. So I'm kind of checking grade, figuring out where my ditches are going to end up having to be. And here you'll see everything kind of stops, but if you watch, I'm fiddling around with the bucket there. There's 20 minutes where I won't get my life back ever again. Point to self is grease that pin. This is the bucket that I had to modify for the tag style, and I think that bushing material I got is a lot tighter than the normal tag bushing that's in there, so that bucket comes apart kind of hard. So here I'm trying to figure out exactly where my utilities are so that I can dig, and I want to make sure I was plenty far enough away from all those utilities that kind of come off the hill and down into the house there on an angle, and I'll show you some things later on. That's where I left it for lunch. Went out to have lunch with a buddy of mine. So here I start scratching it and making sure I'm straight and just kind of putting it in the bucket, because I'm not, no, this is going back in. It's all going to be rock for the French drain. Thinking I'm plenty far enough away from all those utilities that just come off the hill and angle into my house. So I went far enough away from them to start where I thought I'd be okay. But guess what? What am I looking at? Never fails. So there's a 3-inch drain waste vent. That's the area that I was talking about. It was dry inside, looked like there'd never had any water flow. Here's where my utilities come in. They come off the hill, water, electric, sewer, everything comes down that way. This is where that pipe's going. It goes from the corner out. So I think what it was a existing, before we bought the place, drain for the yard, because they've obviously had water problems here forever. And so what happens was, I think it was abandoned, and I probably filled it in because I've expanded the parking spot years ago, and so I think I've probably covered up that daylight. So anyways, wife came home in the middle of this. I can't get the tractor back in, so I'm dealing around with it. And I'm like, I'm going to move her Jeep for her. So she wasn't real happy about that, but whatever. So I keep digging my ditch, just bucket load at a time, because I don't want to just bale the dirt right there. So I just kind of dig it out, and it's really hard, and I'll say this later on too, but it's this is where I'm digging that pipe out. So because I think it's completely abandoned, I didn't want to spend the time to completely dig it out and put a union or anything in there. So I just kind of capped it, because I really don't think it's doing anything. I don't think where it's daylighted out on the far side to the right there, it's probably covered in dirt anyway. So it's basically just a pipe in the ground. But I capped it just in case. So here I'm kind of cleaning up, and you can see I stopped going into the bucket because I'm close enough to the edge of my parking area there where I can just bale the dirt off the side. Kind of clean it out a little bit with a shovel. Figured now I'm going to spend most of the time with an excavator. It's a lot faster. Did the shovel. Now I'm going to start getting my material out here for the French drain. So I got the fabric sitting there, the pipe sitting there, and I'm just making sure that I get everything lined up, ready to roll. That's my ditches. Like I said, it's super hard with our rocky soil to dig them straight, but I do my best. Here's the ditch lined with fabric to keep the silt out of the drain rock and the pipe, we hope. And nothing ever goes as planned with me, but for the most part, it really is. Here's the pipe laid in the ditch. I've got 2 3-inch pipes because we get a tremendous amount of water. I think I've got everything pretty much redirected, but I wanted to make sure I had plenty of capacity. So here I was putting the drain rock in at the end of the night, and I had to kind of push all the road base back up. So I had temporary parking because I still kind of ran out of drain rock to finish it up. Here's a couple days later, kind of finishing that up, and where I kind of leave the parking lot, which was in pretty good shape. And then some future videos, you'll see we completely messed the parking lot up again. So stay tuned. If you like this stuff, please hit that subscribe. This is what's coming up. I really want to try and push on my subscriptions. Sitting under a couple hundred right now, and I'd love to get to that 1,000 subscriber mark by the end of February, which will be kind of my birthday. Be a great thing to be able to monetize this channel, get some better equipment, and produce some better content for you guys. So please hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching.